Hello friends, I am Kurian Thomas, PGT English, Jawaharlal Navoday Vidyalaya, Chamarajanagar, Karnataka. Today I would like to introduce a new topic to you. The topic is on the theme of filmmaking and its influence on society. Often people say films are reflections of society. Some differ in their opinion. They say society goes because of the films. Today I am going to introduce this poet and Pancakes, written by Ashok Mitra, which is an excerpt taken from his book My Years with Boss. Let me have a glance at the author and the book. Ashok Mitra, a very popular Tamil writer who has written more than 200 short stories, about 8 novels and 15 novellas, is a very distinguished essayist and critic too. He has won the prestigious Sahitya Academy Award in the year 1996. His real name is Jagadisha Tyagarajan. This lesson we are going to see today is an excerpt taken from his book My Years with Boss. The boss mentioned here is Mr. S.S. Vasan. In this short excerpt, he recounts his years at the Gemini studio and talks of the influence of movies on every aspect of life in India. He wrote his experience of working in Tamil film industry for the Illustrated Weekly, which was later compiled and published as My Years with Boss. He worked for many years in the Gemini Studios. The Gemini Studios was bought by S.S. Vasan, a very influential personality and a film producer, a journalist, a writer and an advertiser. From 1940 to 1969, Gemini Studios was the most influential film producing organization of India. And Ashok Mitra worked here from 1952 to 1966. And the name Gemini Studio is given by S.S. Vasan, its owner, when he purchased it in 1940. It was named after one of his most successful racehorse, Gemini. Vasan was also an entrepreneur and he used to have racehorses and betting, and therefore he named this studio after his favorite horse, Gemini. So the boss, S.S. Vasan, the owner of Gemini Studios, as I told you, was a film producer, a journalist, a writer, an advertiser, director, and also a very prominent businessman of Madras. He also was the founder of the Tamil magazine Ananda Vikatan. Now coming to the title of the story, The Poets and Pancakes. What is the significance of this title? Why pancake and why poets? Pancake was a makeup material which was brought in truckloads to the Gemini studio for makeup purpose. It is a thick, heavy oil and wax based foundation that provides a great deal of coverage. Beauticians call it the foundation, and as you all know, the makeup has got many different layers, and the foundation of this makeup is the pancake. And this gives coverage better than the regular cream based makeups. So it is often used for theatrical performances by people who are going to appear on stage or screen, such as models and actors. It creates a water resistant finish and won't be affected by sweat. As you can see in the picture, you can see a lady with wrinkled face after makeup, how she appears. This is the kind of difference that a makeup material can make. So pancake is the makeup material that was brought in truckloads to Gemini Studios. And who are the poets? There were many regular visitors to the Gemini Studios, poets and writers. Also there was a department of story writing. So all these together comprised the poets. And we may also say that even poet Stephen Spender also could be a part of the title Poets and Pancakes. Now coming to the pancakes, the author says that the heroines like or the actresses like Greta Garbo, who was a Swedish-American actress, who was very famous for her beauty and charm, who received an Academy Honorary Award in 1954 for her captivating and unforgettable screen performance. She must have used these pancakes. Miss Gohar, an Indian film actress, she also must have used the pancake. But YJ Nimala must have or may not have even used. YJ Nimala was a renowned Bharatanatyam dancer, a choreographer, and later became a parliamentarian. Why YJ Nimala would have used it and Miss Gohar and Greta Garbo must not have used it? It is because pancake was a makeup material that was used in the 1920s, 30s and 40s. Later, new brands came in, and that is why the author further says that Riddhi Agnihotri, a modern actress, must not have even heard of pancakes. Riddhi Agnihotri was an Indian film actress. She had acted in few Hindi movies, and the most popular one was Ek Duje Ke Liye with Kamala Hassan, and the second one was Holi. So she must not have even used this pancake, because in her time the new brands of makeup materials have come into the market. So this is what Mr. S.S. Vasan started with telling. The Gemini Studios was run in one of the stables of Robert Clive during those days. Robert Clive was a very controversial personality in India who established the military and political supremacy of East India Company in Bengal, and who almost laid the foundation of the British Times. So in this story we can see Ashok Mitran uses a rambling style. He starts starts with the pancakes, the actresses who had used the pancakes, then about the Gemini studio and Robert Clive, and then now he moves on to what he was doing as a member of the Gemini studio. He used to sit in a cubicle-like room which had French windows. So what could be a French window? It is a large window that can also serve as a door, and it has one or more panes of glasses set into the whole length of the door, as you can see in the picture. So he used to sit in this cubicle and he used to collect paper cuttings. That was his only work. That is what he did. From here, he moves on to the makeup department. So Ashok gives a vivid picture of the makeup department of the Gemini Studios. He tells that it was one of the best examples of the national integration, where people from different parts of our country worked. First it was headed by a Bengali, then by a Maharashtrian, then by a Dharwad Kannadiga, then an Andhrit, a Madras Christian, an Anglo-Burmese, and also the other local Tamils. And the makeup room, it had the appearance of a hair-cutting salon. And the people who had to go there for makeup had to undergo a fiery misery because of the incandescent lights of the makeup room. He also tells that the makeup department very strictly followed a hierarchy. There was a strict hierarchy. The chief makeup man made the chief actors and actresses agree. His senior assistant made the second hero and second heroine agree. And then the junior assistant made the main comedian agree, and so on and so forth. And it was the duty of the office boy, or it was the responsibility of the office boy to make the crowd players trampling style. Ashok moves on to speak about Kodamangalam Subbu. Subbu was an Indian poet, a lyricist, author, actor and film director in South India. He was awarded Padma Shri, wrote Tamil classic Villana Mohanambal, and was also a close associate of S.S. Vasan and was considered number 2 at the Gemini Studios. When we talk about the novel Villana Mohanambal, this novel was written by Kodamangalam Subbu, which was also made into a movie in the year 1967. Earlier in 1957, it was published in the Tamil magazine Ananda Vikatan, which was founded by S.S. Vasan. It is a story of Shanmuga Sundaram, a Nadaswara player, and Mohanambal, a Bharatanatyam dancer. Unfortunately, both could not confess their love for each other. Their families create a challenge in their coming together. The way they overcome obstacles be the rest of the story. Then he moves on to the story writing department of the Gemini Studio. And the regular visitors or the regular poets who visited the Gemini Studio. One of the prominent literary figure, Mr. Krishna Shastri, was a Telugu poet and playwright and translator, who was also very popularly known as Andhra Shelly. He was a regular visitor to the Gemini studio. Another poet and writer who visited the Gemini studio frequently was Harindranath Chakraborty, who was an Indian English poet, a dramatist, actor and musician. He was member of the first Lok Sabha from Vijayawada constituency. He is also better known as the brother of Sarojini Naidu, who received a Padma Bhushan in the year 1973. So there are many such poets who frequently visited the Gemini studios. Now moving from these poets and the writers and Kodamangalam Subbu, Ashokamitran moves on to the arrival of MRI to the Gemini studios. One fine morning, about 200 foreign personnel comes to the Gemini studio. Except the boss and people close to the boss never knew who these people were. They even thought that it was a circus tent. But it was the MRA or the Moral Rearmament Army. This MRA was headed by Frank Bookman, who is known as Franklin Nathaniel Daniel Bookman. He was a Protestant evangelist who founded the Oxford group known as the Moral Rearmament. What is this Moral Rearmament or the MRI? It was an international spiritual and moral movement that in 1938 developed from American minister Frank Bookman's Oxford group. In 1938, European nations were rearming themselves for war. It was then the Oxford group felt the need for rearming the nations spiritually and morally and launched a campaign of moral rearmament in London. It was also known as the right-wing group against the communists. So what was the purpose of arrival of this moral rearmament to the Gemini studio? They had come to the Gemini studio to stage two plays, two dramas. One was the Jotham Valley and the other was the Forgotten Factor. The Jotham Valley is a melodrama of two quarreling brothers whose hatred brings misery to all the neighbors, particularly when one brother deprives the valley of water because he illegally controls the water pipes. In the end, the key of truth opens the hardened heart of the brother and he permits the water to gush forth and the brothers also make it. This is the theme of Jotham Valley. The second one was the Forgotten Factor. Another drama staged by the Moral Rearmament. It is based on the theme human and ideological clashes during a tense strike period. It is translated into about 60 languages and later made into a movie. The MRS staged these two dramas in the Gemini studio, and the makeup department had the opportunity to do makeup on the foreign personnel other than the usual Tamil actors and actresses. So it was a change for them. Another very important factor to be noted here is this Tamil theatre was also influenced by the scenes of the Jotham Valley and the Forgotten Factor. Though the Tamil stories did not change, but the sceneries or the scenes of Jotham Valley and the Forgotten Factor was adopted by many of the Tamil dramas later. A few months after the visit of the MRA, another visitor from England came to the Gemini studio. It was a poet. Some people thought that he was a writer because except the boss, no one else knew who the English visitor was. And they all wondered what an English poet would be doing in the Gemini studios, which made simple films for the simple Tamilians. And the people in Gemini studio also did not know much about the English poets. Some of them must have heard about Wordsworth and Tennyson or Keats or Shelley or Byron or maybe even Eliot. But people had never heard this poet's name. And what was the purpose of his arrival? And finally he arrived. He gave a long speech which no one could understand. And even some people tried to understand his accent, defeated all the effort to understand what he spoke. And this poet was none other than the poet Stephen Spender. He was an English poet and novelist and also an essayist. He concentrated on the themes of social injustice and class struggle in his works. And he was also the editor of the magazine The Encounter. And one day he found a small advertisement in a very small column or an unimportant column of a newspaper. That was a story writing competition which was meant for maybe writers like him. And this is to be sent to the Encounter. So to search for the Encounter, he went to the library. There he found bundles of Encounter lying untouched. He took a copy and going through the preliminary pages, we found that the editor of the magazine is someone who knew him personally. It was none other than the poet who visited the Gemini studios, poet Stephen Spender. He was very happy. He felt like he had found a long lost brother after a long time. And years later, when he was out of Gemini studio and had much time but not much money, he was looking for anything at a very reduced price. And on the footpath at Madras Mount Road Post Office, there was a pile of brand new books, which was available for 50 paise each. And he bought one. It was the book, The God That Failed. The God That Failed is a collection of essays written by 6 eminent writers of the world who were disillusioned by communism. These 6 writers are Andre Gide, Richard Wright, Ignatius Leonin, Arthur Koestler, Louis Fisher, and Stephen Spender. The last one, the poet who visited Gemini studio. At this instance, he realized what was the purpose of the visit of Stephen Spender to the Gemini studios. The reaction to Stephen Spender at Gemini studios was now no longer a misery. And the boss of the Gemini studios may not have much to do with Spender's poetry, but not with his God That Failed. So this is the gist of the story, The Poets and Pancakes. Thank you.